We're in the gate. And they're off. Tiara Queen sprints away from the gate. Starts now, has some early interest. These two 1-2 as they cross the dirt and come back onto the main course. Just behind them, Esmeralda and Kentucky Gal in the white colors down at the rail. That group is followed by Vincero Grande racing inside Mizion, who's 7 lengths off the leader, and 2 more to Cheekiest. By the stands, Tiara Queen ensures a very honest tempo, strides 5 lengths clear. Starts now in second. Kentucky Gal and Esmeralda head and head with Mizion outside of them. Vincero Grande, purple colors, more than 10 off this leader, and Cheekiest. Into the first turn, Tiara Queen, the long shot, continues to sprint along. Very ambitious. 8, 9, 10 length lead now, which starts now in second. They're followed by Esmeralda. Down at the rail, Fresu and Kentucky Gal racing in fourth. Another 2 back to Mizion in the yellow colors, inching up, Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're heading to the half-mile pole behind Tiara Queen, whose lead is 6 or 7 now, with starts now second throughout. Esmeralda third, Kentucky Gal, Mizion side by side, the 2 favorites, 2 lengths clear of Vincero Grande, and Cheekiest continues at the back of the field. Tiara Queen's lead diminishing with every stride. Starts now, the first to take aim second. Esmeralda, Kentucky Gal at the rail, has some run, just needs room and a plan at this stage. Outside of her comes Mizion. Mizion hard-ridden, trying to get by Kentucky Gal. 4 clear of Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're at the top of the stretch, and Kentucky Gal swings out and pounces on Starts Now, who's the new leader. Starts Now, running well, though. It Starts Now, Kentucky Gal. These two head and head for the wire, and Kentucky Gal surges past under a picture-perfect ride from Antonio Fresu to win convincingly. Starts Now second. It's a 3-way photo for third. Vincero Grande, Cheekiest, and Esmeralda. We're in the gate. And they're off. Torleaf is out very quickly and takes the lead. Unbreakable Trust has good early foot, too. They're joined by Hot Tiger Knights on the outside, and Hot Tiger Knights up to take the lead. Buster's Way flashes some early gas on the inside. Now moves up inside Torleaf to take third. Then comes Adebayo, who was not quick out of the gate, but ranges right into contention. Soul Music 4 off them. Then it's Unbreakable Trust, Master Jacques in the distant trailer. They're Not Like Us. 5/16 of a mile to run, and it's Hot Tiger Knights a length and a half. Adebayo in pursuit second, 2 clear of Soul Music. Then it's Torleaf in fifth. Losing ground now is Unbreakable Trust is starting to rally, 1 from the outside. They're at the top of the stretch, and Adebayo has collared and passed. Hot Tiger Knights has to hold off Unbreakable Trust, but it is Adebayo with a 2-length lead coming to the 16th pole. Unbreakable Trust trying to close the gap and is doing so. It's going to get very close. Unbreakable Trust or a drifting out Adebayo. Here's the line. Photo finish. Looked like Adebayo held on while drifting. Unbreakable Trust was right there with him. In behind that, it's between Master Jacques and Torleaf. In the gate. And they're off. Feel the Magic, Mongolian Altai hook up out of the gate. Malibu rocks up close, as is Mr. Leisure, who sprints through along the inside, and Mr. Leisure hugs that fence and takes the lead from Feel the Magic, who's suddenly 2 lengths back second. Then Malibu rocks along the rail in third. Mongolian Altai 3 off the pace in fourth. Bad to the Bones, well spotted fifth, as Malibu rocks having a little bit of difficulty around that first turn. The 2 trailers, Spun Not Stirred and Excel, Calculator. The pace is honest, and Mr. Leisure is the boss, with Feel the Magic right up alongside in second. Mongolian Altai third. Then Malibu Rocks, Bad to the Bones, in between those two. Just 3 lengths off the lead, coming to the half-mile pole. Spun Not Stirred, Excel Calculator. Mr. Leisure takes him into the far turn. A length and a half in front of Feel the Magic in second. Then Malibu Rocks. Bad to the Bones, looking for some breathing room, getting it now. He's in between horses. Mongolian Altai is just outside of him. Gap of 5 to Spun Not Stirred and Excel Calculator. Feel the Magic, putting the test to Mr. Leisure. These two arrive 1-2, and now Bad to the Bones, revving up 3 wide there at the top of the stretch. Feel the Magic, the leader. Mr. Leisure is back to second, but still very game. 4 lengths back, Bad to the Bones flattening out with Malibu Rocks inside of him. Feel the Magic, and Luis Saez striding clear for a much the best W. Feel the Magic by 3.5. Mr. Leisure second. The battle for third went to Malibu Rocks over Bad to the Bone. We're in the gate. And they're off. Far Overloaded and Jaguar John are the first two out of the gate. Cangrejo joins the fray, and Sark is in the mix too as they run down the back stretch. Moving between rivals is Spectacular Tiger now, coming through along the inside to vie for the lead. Daddy's Quest is next. It's a gap of 6. Back to Sleuth Cyan, who races just in front of Hoser Satrapa. Then comes Klimt AP, One Bold Bid, and War Council is at the back of the field. They round the far turn. Far Overloaded is the leader, confronted by Jaguar John, who's firing alongside second. They've left Spectacular Tiger 3 lengths back in third, then Cangrejo, and Sark is in fifth. Jaguar John takes the lead confidently as the field turns for home. Far Overloaded is clearly second. 4 lengths back, Spectacular Tiger on the inside, followed by Cangrejo, but it's all Jaguar John. And Jaguar John pulling away with authority. Jaguar John was ready to fire, and he will widen with every stride, scoring by almost 8 lengths. Far Overloaded was second. Hoser Satrapa from well out of it, and then a photo Cangrejo and Klimt AP. They're in the gate. And they're off. It was a very even start. And Clampett in the center. Touchdown Brown has plenty of early speed, and Navajo Warrior is in between those two as they move into the first turn. Mega Moon is coming through along the inside in the orange colors, vying for command, and Cowboy Mike is right there with him too. So it's Mega Moon, Cowboy Mike, Clampett, and Touchdown Brown right across the track as they swing on to the back stretch. At the rail, Father Delay, and Navajo Warrior is now about 4 lengths off the lead. It's a gap of 5 to the next flight. Sakil ready to pounce. Trusty Rusty outside of them, and Mongolian Max is at the back of the field. They're heading to the half-mile pole, and it's Mega Moon on the inside, leading it by a head. Cowboy Mike keeps the pressure on him second. Touchdown Brown, 3/4 back third. Clampett between rivals fourth. Father Delay in the yellow colors is down on the inside, with Navajo Warrior just outside of him, still just 3 lengths off the lead. Trusty Rusty is trying to make some headway. He's just in front of Sakil, ready to pounce second to last, joined by Mongolian Max. It's Mega Moon coming to the quarter pole. He's been prominent every step of the way. Leads it by about a half a length now. Touchdown Brown on the outside, and Cowboy Mike remains in between those two. Navajo Warrior 4 wide. Outside of him, Trusty Rusty and Father Delay is down at the rail. Mega Moon at the 8th pole has a 2-length lead. Navajo Warrior is in second, and Trusty Rusty with this sustained bid keeps on coming. Trusty Rusty, Navajo Warrior, these two go on. Navajo Warrior a length and a half close to home and pulling clear. Another for Frey Sioux. Navajo Warrior much the best. Trusty Rusty second, Mega Moon third in front of Father Delay, who just shaded Mongolian Max. All in. And they're off. Even start. Stay in line in the center of the racetrack is going to vie for the lead. Clubhouse Bride is up close in the opening stages, and Lady Marianne is just outside of them. The No Cap, the favorite Lady Gregory, is fifth along the inside, but only 3 lengths off the lead. A gap of 4 to Full Moon Grays In, Shanghai Sunrise, Dory Miller, and Sand to Sea between those two. Orantes and Stay in Line leading the way, while In Hand traveling kindly through the opening quarter mile. Leads it by a half a length. Clubhouse Bride is racing in second. Lady Marianne third. Lady Gregory at the rail in fourth. No Cap in between those two. It's 4 more to Dory Miller, who's followed by Full Moon Grazen, Shanghai Sunrise, and Sand to Sea is at the back. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and 4 of them across the track as they reach the top of the stretch. Clubhouse Bride racing on the outside of Stay in Line, who has something left. At the rail, Lady Gregory's been waiting for room for some time. Can she get through? No, she's going to swing to the outside and take a crack at Stay in Line, who's still traveling well. Stay in Line, 2-length lead. Lady Gregory is chasing but running out of time. Stay in Line or Lady Gregory. Here's the line. Photo finish. Whoa, is that close? It's either Stay in Line or Lady Gregory, well behind them to the battle for show, and that was between Clubhouse Bride and Dory Miller. Tight photograph. In the gate. And they're off in the Senorita Stakes. Very even start. And here's Chloe coming through along the inside to vie for the lead right away. Jungle Peace right up alongside in second. These two speed down the hill, with Shield Fleet moving through along the inside to take third. Velocity is racing in between horses with Polythene Pam, Maxon, and Gold, and another 2 back to Amarita. Down the hill, and Jungle Peace and Rispoli cruising along with a half mile to travel. Have it a length and a half now to Chloe in second, who cuts right back into that margin now. Velocity covers up Shield Fleet. They're third and fourth. Another 2.5 back. Amarita is now let loose along the inside into fifth. Has 5 lengths to make up. Polythene Pam and Maximum Gold. Top of the lane, Jungle Peace the leader. Chloe on the outside in second. Shield Fleet finds a spot in between, and Amarita continues to rally. Outside of her, it's Velocity inside the 8th pole. Jungle Peace, 2-length lead. Chloe's trying to get her on the money, and on the outside, Amarita just keeps on coming. Amarita's coming after Jungle Peace. Jungle Peace holding on. Here's the line. Jungle Peace holds on narrowly to just get there in the Senorita. Amarita was flying late behind them between Velocity and Chloe. Race 8 starts the late pick 4, scratch 5. Feisty Matoli to the outside. They're in the gate. And they're off. Chopina Pasadena is out very alertly. So is Liquid Spirit. And on the outside of them, Feisty Matoli, three of them vying for command. They're followed by Autism, Inspiration, and Care for Autism. Misty Dancer is in between those two. It's three more to Princess Daddy, Spinning, and Nala Trails. There's a battle on the front end. Feisty Matoli on the outside. Chopina Pasadena is at the rail, and Liquid Spirit now into second. So it is Chopina Pasadena and Liquid Spirit who go on with it. Autism Inspiration is fourth, trying to close in from there. Care for Autism, 6 lengths off the lead, and Nala is underway. She'll be wide in the blue. They're at the top of the stretch, and Liquid Spirit is right up to Chopina Pasadena. It's been a dream trip for Autism Inspiration, who's coming after the top pair now. A 16th to go. Chopina Pasadena and Liquid Spirit. Liquid Spirit, Chopina Pasadena, neither giving an inch to the wire. Liquid Spirit on the outside, or Chopina Pasadena. Photo between those two. Liquid Spirit, Chopina Pasadena. Princess Daddy was on the scene late, as was Nala and Autism Inspiration. In the gate. And they're off. War to Remember is very quick, and War to Remember will take them over the dirt in front. A Day to Remember is pressing in second, then Smiling Tizzy and Call Me Corey is fourth, now third along the inside. Helicity is fifth, 6 or 7 off the lead, 2 clear of Hamlin, who races on the inside of Metro. Power Play is just behind that pair on the inside of War Theory as they move into the far turn. And it is War to Remember leading the way, pressed by A Day to Remember in second. Call Me Corey, 2 off them in the blue at the rail in third. The gray is Smiling Tizzy fourth, now taking that third spot. Helicity is fifth, within striking range of good enough, 4 lengths off the lead. 5 clear of Metro and Hamlin there at the top of the stretch. There's room at the rail for Call Me Corey, who's coming after the top pair. A Day to Remember just in front. Call Me Corey, and Helicity is cut loose on the outside. Coming to the 16th ball, Helicity, A Day to Remember, and Call Me Corey. It is on the outside, Helicity with the momentum, and Helicity. That's 3 for Freysu, 2 for Yakteen. A Day to Remember second, Call Me Corey third. Smiling Tizzy was involved in the photo for fourth. Freysu riding triple. Congratulations, 3 wins, Antonio Freysu. Helicity was bred in Kentucky by Nova Stables. Running time on the turf, which is labeled as good, 110.01 seconds. The 9th named Happy Birthday. Oyster goes in. And they're off. Super Mazel had a very awkward start. The favorite faces a tall order. Little Brother Joey is going out for the early lead. Contrary Chieftain in between horses has some early interest, and Brother O'Brien comes through along the inside, racing in third. They're followed by Royster, fourth in the early stages, now taking that third spot, joined 4 wide by Movie Time, and just behind them, Chief Jackson is fifth, 3 lengths off the lead. Touch of Zen is next, racing 2 lengths in front of Brother O'Brien, who has lost a few spots. Mischief's Thirsty is second to last, and Super Mazel will have to pass them all. 4.5 furlongs to go, and it's Little Brother Joey leading by a neck to Contrary Chieftain in second. 1.5 lengths, Royster third. Then comes Movie Time and Chief Jackson right together. Down at the rail, Brother O'Brien is asked to get through there, and in between those two, Mischief's Thirsty, 6 lengths off the lead. Touch of Zen has to go 4 wide around the 4 turn. Movie Time losing ground, and Super Mazel starts to rally from behind, still with a lot of ground to make up, as Contrary Chieftain has suddenly spurted clear. Contrary Chieftain puts 7 or 8 lengths on them at the top of the stretch. Chief Jackson is racing in second. Down on the inside, little brother Joey is dropping out of it. Between rivals, brother O'Brien, 16th to go. And Contrary Chieftain is in one race. The rest are in another. Contrary Chieftain just absolutely battered this field. Wins by almost 10 lengths. Brother O'Brien, Mischief's Thirsty, and Super Muzzle. Goes in. And they're off. Super Muzzle had a very awkward start. The favorite faces a tall order. Little brother Joey is going out for the early lead. Contrary Chieftain in between horses has...
Exactly 3 hours from now at 2:51 p.m. Pacific time is the running of the 151st Kentucky Oaks, and we're delighted you decided to join us not only for that important race, but also today's Friday's 9-race card here at the Great Race Place. My name is Tom Quigley, seated alongside a very sharp handicapper. He's been on here before. He did an excellent job. Decided to bring him back. His name, Jackson Muniz. Jackson, happy Friday. Welcome to the seminar.
Hey, thanks for having me again, and must have done something not completely wrong to have me back. So
you did everything right. What are you talking about? Including today. Now, I wore a traditional pink button-down shirt. You came with the old saddlecloth, and if you know the saddlecloth, number 8 is pink. That's literally the only pink shirt you had in your closet, but I'm happy that you wore it because it distinguishes how many runners are running in both the Oaks and the Derby today. Yeah. It's unusual that we have that big of a field size in both races.
It's unusual, but it's a lot of fun. And if, just, sometimes I wear the shirt, and if I can't find the winner in here, I'll just tell someone, close your eyes and just point. And whatever number they pick is the one I'll go bet. So
it's
whatever
easy
works.
For the newcomers, that's for sure.
Yep.
Jackson, you've been almost nonstop on podcasts this week, previewing both the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. You've been on podcasts that have featured handicappers like Andy Serling and Matt Miller and Peter Fornatelli and our buddy Ryan. Yep. As you've been doing these podcasts, and like I said, they've been quite voluminous and quite time-consuming, what's maybe one statistic you either gave out or maybe one of the guests gave out as it relates to the Kentucky Oaks and how we can maybe make money today?
Well, just an interesting stat I found was from my buddy Kyle Roscoe. He pointed out to me today that, Good Cheer in this Kentucky Oaks has a chance to be the second shortest prize favorite since Rachel Alexandra, which I thought was really interesting considering, how many good fillies have run in this race over the years.
Correct.
It's just some superstars. And if you're looking at certain angles at this race, she isn't exactly a huge standout on just on the pace on the speed figures. So maybe you don't want to take a super short price on her, but it's an interesting stat, I thought.
And then likewise, of course, tomorrow is the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby, and there's so many statistics thrown around. It's like if you ate a ham sandwich on Tuesday afternoon and the moon was full, then post position number 12 never wins. I mean, it just gets overanalyzed. What is maybe one meaningful statistic that you could throw our way related to the Kentucky Derby?
Well, my favorite one is maybe not the so meaningful one. Is the post position 17 is never won the Kentucky Derby before ever. It's over 50 or whatever it is at this point, and it's kind of been shuffled around with a couple scratches this week. At first, it was, I believe, it was Sandman, then it was Sovereignty. Now it's Chunk of Gold. So if you're into that sort of thing, maybe you don't want Chunk of Gold, but if you don't care, maybe you do. So we're going to find out.
Let's circle back to the Kentucky Oaks. Of course, all people want to play that race today. You talked about Good Cheer maybe being vulnerable favorite. Having said that, do you think she's going to win the race, or are you looking elsewhere?
I do think she is going to win this race. I just think every angle you look at this race, except for maybe the speed figure edge, I think she's got a big advantage in here. I think she's supposed to get a really good setup. I think she's beaten a lot of these horses that she's facing today. You know, she handled Quiet Side pretty easily last time they faced off. We know what Quiet Side's come back to do and beat several of the main contenders in this race. And I just think she's going to get better with more distance. And again, the biggest thing is the trip. She's going to get plenty of pace to run into. She's the best finisher in the field. And I think she's going to win this race as the favorite.
A lot of Sharpies I know, including yourself, liked 5G. Unfortunately, the filly that's been scratched simply because she seemed to be the controlling speed. With her out, do you think that softens up the pace scenario? And if it does it benefit maybe one of the other front runners, like Simply Joking, drawn down inside?
You know, it's tough to say because sometimes when you have a speed horse like that scratches, all the other speed horses, you know, they all notice that. And now they're all intent on going. Now maybe it ends up being a little even faster than it should have been with 5G in there. But it's tough to say. I do like a horse towards the outside for an exacta. I like Quiet Side, who is going to probably get a good stalking trip from way out there. That'd be my ice cold exacta, 11/14, hoping that Quiet Side proves best of the speed and Good Cheer can run them all down late.
What about the Southern California hope, number 9, Tenma, who's basically 5 for 6 in her lifetime? She's a little bit light on speed figure numbers, but, you know, she does have some early speed. Juan Hernandez and Bob Baffert win races in bunches here in SoCal. She's a daughter of Nyquist. Do you give her any sort of a puncher's chance?
You know, based on my last race, it's tough to make a strong case for her. That number was really slow, but if you're forgiving of that last race, the 1-2 back was phenomenal. That's actually one of the top numbers you're going to see in this field. So it's just a matter of which version of Tenma we see today. Hopefully it's the one that we saw back in February, not the one in April.
Tenma 12-1 on the morning line. We do not know what her current odds are, but of course we've got 3 hours to post time, so plenty of time to find out who you like and who you want to wager on. Let's kind of fast forward to the Kentucky Derby, Daxon. You know, there's so much hype regarding journalism, and of course, most of it deservedly so. Are you in his camp? Are you outside of his camp? Where do you kind of fit right now, basically 27 hours away from the running of the Derby?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm a little chalky this year. I do like journalism as well. He's just a standout again. On this time, this is a horse that is a standout on figures. He's got the 2 big numbers that are faster than everyone else in this race. And again, he's a horse that's supposed to get that good mid-pack trip where there's a lot of speed. There's a lot of horses that want to come from way out of it. And I think he's going to be right in the middle, get the jump on those deep closers. And if he runs back those races he ran here at Santa Anita, he's going to be very tough to beat.
You use the phrase numbers. And so are you really a numbers guy? In other words, do you look at Ragozin, Thoroughgraph? Do you kind of use numbers to project the pace? Like, just give us a glimpse into how you handicap a race, whether it's the Kentucky Derby or, you know, a $16,000 claimer at Santa Anita.
Yeah, well, I like to take both the speed figures in consideration, whether it's buy or a time form. I like to use both. And then you have to use those, and you also have to use how the pace is going to shake out. The pace is the most important part because the pace is how you get those good horses beat and how you get those long shots into the winner's circle. You know, if a big long shot gets a favorable pace scenario, they can find ways to beat horses that are faster than them. So it all just depends how each race is going to shake out, and you kind of have to balance the pace and the horse's, you know, natural ability.
What are your thoughts on Baeza, who drew it off the also eligible list, finished a really good second last time out to journalism in the Santa Anita Derby? Unfortunately, going to be stuck in the outside post, which is a negative, but John Sheriffs has won the Kentucky Derby before, and Flavian Pratt decided to jump in the saddle. There's a couple of positives to outweigh that negative. What are your feelings on Baeza?
Yeah, I have a tough time with him going back and forth.
Tell us why.
Because he's been really good, right? He's improving with each start. He's lightly raced. I just thought he got a really good trip in that Santa Anita Derby. He was just parked in the clear the whole time. He got the jump on everyone, had no excuses, whereas journalism had a lot of trouble. And journalism still kind of ran him down pretty easily in the end. And I've seen the case heard that Baeza's still improving. He can take a step forward. He's lightly raced. He's only run 4 times. Well, journalism's only run 5 times. Why can't he take another step forward in this race off of those giant numbers he's been running? So looking at it that way, I just feel like journalism's probably superior to Baeza at this point, and he's going to run better than him. But I do not hate the idea at all of having Baeza underneath in those exotics.
You mentioned the trouble journalism had, I believe, in a 5-horse Santa Anita Derby field. Now he's going to have to run basically against 19 runners as we speak. Does the trouble that he encountered last time in a small field continue that he might even encounter more trouble in a bigger field tomorrow?
It doesn't concern me too much. I mean, I like that he was able to overcome it, right? You want to see that. You want to see these horses overcome adversity, and it's tough to find trouble in a 5-horse field, but he did, and now he's proven that he can overcome these things and navigate traffic and weave his way in between horses if he needs to. So I found that to be an encouraging sign for him. I know it's a much bigger field, but none of these horses have run in 20-horse fields before, so it's a question mark for everyone.
We know you like journalism. We know you're a little bit lukewarm on Baeza. If you were playing exactors or tries, maybe who's your second pick in the Kentucky Derby, Jackson?
I'm gonna give you guys a bomb from post 17, but he's wearing number 19. It is Chunk of Gold. He's a big long shot in this race.
What do you like about him?
He's coming in this race. He's another one that's lightly raced, keeps improving. And I just really liked his Louisiana Derby where he was pretty close to a very, very fast pace, kind of made the first move into it. and just maybe to mistime his move a little bit. That was a race that completely collapsed. He ran well to get second in that race, and he's another one I feel like is going to get that second flight trip where there's all this speed and there's all these deep closers. He's just going to get a really good trip in the middle of that, get the first run on everyone, and hopefully it'll be enough to hang on because he is improving, and I think he's going to take a big step forward on Saturday.
Citizen Bull, the 2-year-old champ from last year, drew post position number 1. We know he's got early speed. The question is, can he get a mile and a quarter? Do you think he's going to be around come finish line time?
I have a tough time making a case for him. He's just really up against it from that post. I mean, that post is so tough. You need a lot of things to go right. You have to break perfectly with 19 other horses coming towards the inside of you. So even if he makes the lead, I just think he might go a little too fast for him to see out that mile and a quarter.
We've been talking a lot about the Oaks and the Derby. One promotion to consider if you're playing both today at Churchill Downs and tomorrow. You should play through our friends at ExpressBet and FirstBet.com. That's because they have what they're calling a $20,000 exactathon. If you play exactas and you're winning exactas at ExpressBet, as you can see right now, there's $20,000 in the pool. And so if you're going to cash winning exactas, why not play and get some extra bonus as well by playing both at ExpressBet and FirstBet.com. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to have Frank Miramati join the action. He's going to give us the early changes on Friday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf is out 30 feet. Here are the changes. Race 1 for the early changes, none. Race 2, just the blinker note in your program. In the third, scratch number 5, Giant Kid. The all-turf pick 3 begins with race number 3. In the fourth, scratch 5, Leno's Angel. Number 1, Can You Dream, 2 pounds over. The pick 6 starts with the fourth. In the fifth, program scratch of number 4, Del Mar Jerry. Late pick 5 starts with race number 5. The sixth, number 6, Club Stiletto, 2 over, 9 approval rating, 3 pounds over. Race 7. Scratch 1, penny account. Note that 3 cooling off. The jockey is Tyler Bays. Scratch 4, onward and upward. Number 6, Rebel Exis, 3 pounds over. 7, Buds and Suds, 1 pound over. Scratch 8, Starship Sedona. Scratch 9, You Better Be the One. Number 10, Laneto, 5 pounds over. Race 7, scratch 1, 4, 8, and 9. In the 8th, scratch 2, Booster Club. Scratch 10, J&M Express. Scratch 12, Ultimate High. Scratch 13, Lady Montclair. The 11 runs. 9th race, super high 5 wagering, program scratch of number 4. We're going to have a good time. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Of course, plenty of activities going on at Churchill, and we have the Coast to Coast Pick 5, combining our races from Gulfstream as well as Santa Anita. It's offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 57 minutes to post for the opener. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Jackson Muniz.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Jackson Muniz. It's our pleasure to have him on today's seminar. He's been my seminar guest last time in mid-January. He did a great job. Last time we spoke, Jackson, you were actually thinking about becoming an air traffic controller. It's kind of like being a handicapper. You got to toss a lot of balls in the air and hope they all stay in the air. Yeah. What's your update right now with becoming an air traffic controller?
No huge update. Still kind of playing the waiting game, just checking my email every day and hoping, checking my spam, checking my promos.
Yeah, it's on there. On the list.
Whenever they get to me, and we'll go from there.
Are you doing some training like on the side? Is there any sort of online training you can do in anticipation?
No, they really want you to just come in knowing nothing. That way they can teach you the way they want you to do it. And I think there's the exact way they want you to do everything. So I'm kind of just doing what they tell me to do and going from there.
Well, if we take future flights, our fate might be in your hands, but our fate is in your hands today on today's 9-race card. And as you heard Frank say, there are a few scratches, but not many on today's card. Also, the start of the pick 6, race number 4 is the first 2-year-old race of the year. That's right, 4.5 furlongs for maiden special weight Calbred 2-year-old fillies. We'll get to that race in just one moment. But before we do, Jackson, obviously race 1 kicks off popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're fast and firm today in Arcadia, California. The rails on the turf are at 30 feet. Race 1 is for $30,000 claimers, non-winners of 3 races lifetime. We've got a field of 7, Moyline favorite, and the current betting choice at 6-5 is number 6, Hudson Ridge, trained by Bob Baffert, ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. What could go wrong with Hudson Ridge in race number 1?
I mean, the obvious part is he's only ran 1 race in the last 20 months or so. I mean, who knows if he's still the same horse he was back in the summer of 2023. I mean, that was a long time ago. So we don't know for sure if he's going to come back the same horse. Obviously, if he does, he's going to be tough to handle. But at a short price, I'd be willing to try to take him on in here.
Me too. Who do you like? It looks like you like number 4, Baldoro.
Kind of a similar case there, just a bigger price where some things have kind of gone wrong the last few starts for Baldoro. But I do like that Leonard Powell bothered to claim back where he lost him a few starts ago. So even despite the poor efforts to last time in the second 2-back, they bothered to bring him back for this barn. He's supposed to get forwardly placed in this race. There's really not a lot of speed. I'm really hoping Diego Herrera just sends him to the front and hopefully he can run back to those good numbers we saw earlier this year.
You also give a little love number 2, Kawasaki, fresh off the win for trainer Richie Baltas, taking a step up in class. What'd you like about him?
Yeah, fresh off a couple wins. And sometimes with these maiden horses, he was over 10 at one point. The light bulb kind of just finally goes on and they figure it all out. So maybe he's just that kind of horse. The light bulb has gone on. He's won 2 in a row. He's kind of found the right field to maybe try to make it 3 in a row.
Both Jackson and I are knocking Hudson Ridge. I'll give you my reasons why. He'll probably win by 10 lengths, but he's 2 for 21 lifetime. Back in April of 2023, Bob dangled the carrot and put him up for sale for $40,000. There were no takers that day. He now puts him in for 30 off the long layoff. I've often said on the seminar and during the pick 6 analysis, if Bob Baffert doesn't like these runners, neither do I, particularly at a short price. Here's one statistic. Jackson said it was a guessing game. Here's one statistic, courtesy of our friends at DRF Formulator. The Bob Baffert barn bringing turf routers back over the last 5 years with layoffs in excess of 180 days. He's done 4 times. He has no victories. Granted, he does have 2 seconds, but he's 0 for 4 the last 5 years in this category, including 1 start with Hudson Ridge, as Jackson mentioned, which was his lone start in 2024, coming in off a long layoff, and as you can see, finished a somewhat dismal 7th. Jackson, let's turn the page, take a look at race number 2, begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track for $25,000 claimers. We've got a field of 7. Steve Knapp trains 2 in here, including the Moyline favorite, number 3, Jerry Spirit, who's 9-5 on the Moyline. Give us your thoughts on race 2.
Yeah, the 3 makes plenty of sense based on the last couple numbers, but he got those wins coming on the lead. There is a lot of speed in there. There's speed drawn to his inside. There's speed drawn to his outside. I was really looking for horses that are going to come from off the pace. And the biggest price of that is Gypsy Tears, who hasn't run amazingly well in the dirt as of late. But I do think that he had excuses in his last few starts. The 1-2-back came against a really good field. Lonesome Stew would be a huge favorite in this race. Final Storm came back to win. And he's probably closer than he wanted in that spot. Back last summer, came against much tougher fields down at Del Mar. Tried to close in slow paces, didn't work out. Opening day race, tried to close against the bias that day. There was a big inside bias opening day at Del Mar. He was 5 wide the whole way around. Didn't work out, but he ran fine in those spots. And I think he's finally found a race where he's supposed to get the right kind of setup. And if he can get the pace he needs, he can come running late and try to blow this thing up a little bit.
As we see on the graphic, you also give a little love to the other Steve Knapp horse, number 4, Super Now. What is it about him you like?
Yeah, similar case, just the closer. I think my whole case in this race, I think there's going to be a lot of speed. I think they're going to line up and go really fast. It's just going to set up for the horses that come from behind. He's the obvious one, just a much shorter price than the alternate, who's not that much slower than he is.
Some additional comments on some of the runners in race number 2, number 4, Supernal, who Jackson just discussed. You can see lost to Wound Up. You recall Wound Up was that very talented sprinter from the Lee Baracchio barn. In this particular race, that Supernal exits, earning a Beyer speed figure of 81. Wound Up actually wound up winning with a 102 Beyer speed figure. Not many non-winners of one state breds you'll see win a 102 Beyer speed figure. So that certainly seems to be a live race. And there's a number of runners on today's card scattered throughout that exit that same race. Also regarding the morning line favorite number 3, Jerry Spirit. I like him a little bit more than Jackson does. Here's a couple reasons why. You can see the horse he beat last time out, Carol's Comic, came back to win. In that race you're looking at in late March for Jerry Spirit, when Carol's Comic finished second. Carol's Comic finished, or I should say, earned a Beyer speed figure of 77, then came back to be victorious, earning a Beyer speed figure of 75. So I think that 85 Beyer speed figure that Jerry Spirit earned in victory will stand up well in this group. Also, there were 7 claims in for Jerry Spirit. Steve Knapp was lucky enough to get the horse. One additional note, Steve Knapp, first off the claim, has been doing very well lately, including, you don't need to have that long of a memory. Last Friday, first off the claim, big celebration one for the Knapp barn, 13-1. Certainly another indication that Steve Knapp means business when he runs horses back first off the claim. Race number 3 on today's 9-race card begins the $3 all-turf pick 3. That's right, it starts early with a reduced 15% takeout. And in race 3, we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. Fillies and mares, $32,000 is the claiming tag. Scratch the 5, Giant Kid, leaves us with a field of 6. Number 4, September Magic from the Ryan Hansen barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite, Jackson. 6 different ways you can go here. Which way you going and why?
Yeah, well, first of all, I love the Sandy Turf Pick 3. It's my favorite bet they have here. I try to play it every
for a lot
single
of
day
other
if I
players
can.
as well.
Yeah,
it pays
just
great, doesn't it?
Pays great. It just, everything about it is perfect. I want to play it as much as I can, as long as I have the opinions.
And it's cool that it starts in race 3 today. Usually it's in race 5 and a little bit overshadowed by the 50-cent late pick 5. Today it's a standalone wager, which I think will help it.
Correct. So hopefully get alive in this race with number 3 on Written Code, who, again, a pace play in this race, who just not a lot of speed in this field, and this is a complete speedball. He just goes to the front every time. Sometimes it's enough to wire him, sometimes it's not.
He's got one way to go.
He's got one way to go, and I think he's supposed to get a pretty easy lead in this spot. And I do like that Jeff Mullins has done absolutely nothing wrong this year. He's winning at a super high percentage. Bothered to claim him last time, puts him in a spot where he can, a realistic spot where he can get a win. And it seems like he's well suited to get a clear lead in this race, and we'll find out if it's enough in the stretch.
Jackson, a question for you. A number of our marquee riders are out of town, of course, to ride at Churchill Downs. So a lot of the quote-unquote second-tier riders are getting a good chance this weekend to win and hopefully earn some money for them and their agents. Do you have preferences for jockeys? I mean, let me ask you it a different way. Do you consider jockeys to be an important component of the overall equation? Or are they just a passenger, or are they just a pilot using your air traffic control experience?
It depends. If it's a speed horse, I don't think it matters too much. They're going to go, and they're either going to have it or they're not. But especially on the turf, though, on the closers, it does matter a lot. The trip matters, and you can go through and you can sort the statistics by turf mount, so you can see there are certain riders that just do much better than others. So you definitely want to pay attention to that.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 4. We're going to take a lot of the workouts here because these are all babies making their career debuts. Race 4 begins the $2 pick 6, and this race is named in honor of the Foundation Dental Specialist. Day of the race is welcome to that group. We're spending 4.5 furlongs for the babies, maiden special weight Calbred, 2-year-old fillies. Scratch the 5, Leno's Angel, still leaves us with a field of 7. Number 6, Cara Rose is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Jackson, I want to talk about and also show some workouts. Let me first talk about some of the runners in this field. Number 1, Can You Dream, was produced by a dam who has had 6 foals up to this point. One debut winner also finished 3rd, but of course her most prolific foal was Chismosa. Chismosa, one of the most talented Calbred filly mares we've ever had here in California, but she's been training exclusively at Los Alamitos, so we don't have any workout video for her, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com. However, if you jump down the page to number 2, Bella Chavella, here she is in action. Bella Chavella on this particular morning on April 26th is on the outside. Now, she's working in company with a horse you might remember, and I know that you know, Jackson, by the name of Bronco Nagurski. The first thing that jumps off the screen is take a look at the size differential. Bronco Nagurski was a large human being, and he's also a large horse. Now, to be fair, Bella Chavella is obviously just an unraced 2-year-old filly who was born in February 2 years ago, but still, she outworks him quickly out of the gate, and I like the way she flashed that early speed. What did you think of this workout, Jackson?
Yeah, agree with all that. Love the early speed, but most importantly, I think it really matters who these horses are working in company with. I think a lot of these trainers, they try to put horses together that kind of have similar abilities. Bronco Nagurski is an older claimer, a veteran horse who
but
can
a
run.
Winner.
Yeah, yes, a winner, but those are numbers he's earning that probably are plenty good enough to beat these 2-year-olds, and he bothers putting her in company with a much older horse. That's a really good sign to me.
Let's fast forward, actually, Jackson, to number 7, My Love Caroline, in this particular race, a first-time starter from the George Parabon barn. Again, breaking from the outside in the maroon cap. She shows a tremendous amount of early speed here. Now, she's only going to work 3 furlongs, and her workmate's going to work 4. But I think the important aspect, again, to take away from My Love Caroline's workout on the same morning, April 26th, is that she does possess early speed. She went 36 and change, as you can see. And basically, this is the end of her workout. And of course, her workmate, who I think does have a lot of ability, and you can see is a son of Curlin, is certainly someone to maybe be reckoned with down the road, certainly not entering in today's field. But the important thing to keep in note, if you like My Love Caroline, is not only the 5-1 morning line price, but also Jorge Parabon does very well. His last 11 starters, courtesy of our friend Brad Free of the Daily Racing Form, who have run at 4.5 furlongs, 3 wins in 2 seconds. So he's 5 for 11, first or second, with the babies running at 4.5 furlongs. Also, this dam, Spring Moon, you might remember, was a starter from the Bob Baffert barn. She's thrown 5 foals up to this point. None of her foals have won, but she actually did win on debut. So the jury is out. I do think, just generally speaking, looking at the pedigree and looking at the workout reports, courtesy of our friends at firsttv.com, the main contenders in race 4 are number 2, Bella Chavella, and number 7, My Love Caroline. That's my opinion, but I know you looked at this race as well, Jackson. Who do you like and why?
I went with the same too. I think you've mentioned a few times, speed wins these 4.5 furlong races. You have to get out of the gate quickly. You have to get in front. It's just so difficult to close. And we know these horses are quick out of the gate because we've seen them do it before in the mornings. Some of the other ones, we're not quite sure if they're able to do it at this point, because it's just like we're kind of guessing without the tape. So I do want to give big preference to those 2 horses, especially the 2 Bella Chavella. I think that workout was really good. They paid a lot of money for her, and it seems like a reasonable spot for her to make her debut.
One other thing I like in baby races, Jackson, as we look at your picks, is if you look at the workout tabs in the past performances for all the first-time starters, I like abbreviated work tabs on the first-time starters, specifically when you're looking at the work tab of number 1, Can You Dream, versus the work tab of number 2, Bella Chavella. Not to take anything away from the ability of Can You Dream, but it looks like Steve Miotti, after basically just 5 workouts here at Santa Anita, is thinking that Bella Chavella is ready to go. Contrarily, Can You Dream is probably needed, I can't count that quickly, but probably 9 to 10 workouts. I just like the runners like Bella Chavella, Tapatia Mia, even My Love Caroline, who have shown that abbreviated work tab because it shows a sign of positive intent. And I just think you can kind of find an angle, not just in this race, but any of the upcoming 2-year-old races, looking at an abbreviated work tab, as well as analyzing the workouts at firsttv.com.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing I like to point out is the gate workouts. Some of these have 3 or 4 gate workouts. That usually tells me that they're having some trouble getting out of the gate, and they're really trying to hash it down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be successful at it.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 5. Begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. This is a claiming race for $25,000 with a unique condition. These runners have not won a race in 2025. That's the way you're eligible for the race. Number 4, Del Mar Jerry, is a program scratch, leaves us with a field of 7. Down the rail, number 1, Regal Patriot from the Tim McKenna barn, is 5-2 on the Maury line. Talk to us about race 5, Jackson.
Yeah, another race. I feel like there's going to be a good amount of speed in here. So I was looking for a horse to come from off the pace, and I think My Summer Dream is the one you might want to consider, who had a couple top trips lately. The 1-2 back, he just didn't even come out of the gate. I needed him so badly that day, and the race was over immediately. And he still closed and split the field. Then last time, kind of the same thing. He was wide. He's trying to close into a really slow pace. It didn't really work out. Now Mullins puts him in a much more reasonable spot compared to last time, and he's supposed to get the setup he needs. He's drawn well on the inside to save all the ground. He's 8-1 on the board, and he's got plenty of numbers that put him right there. So hopefully number 2 is My Summer Dream is the one that can come running late at a big price.
You also like number 3, Bob's Blue Moon, has the best last race buyer speed figure, lost to a war veteran by the name of What Makes Sammy Run with a bit of trouble. What'd you like about number 3, Bob's Blue Moon, Jackson?
Yeah, just another one that seems like he should get a pretty good trip. Just tucked in. He's a little more tactical than the other choices. He should be tucked in right behind the speed, get first run on that deep closer. And again, I think the speed's going to come back to them. So those are the 2 I'm going to use in this race.
I'm not saying I like this horse, but I want to turn your attention and the audience attention to number 7, Inch, back in the Jeff Mullins barn. And the reason why I say this is, if you go way back in September of 2023 for Inch in the past performances, you can see this horse was claimed off trainer Jeff Mullins, and lo and behold, look who was riding the horse very successfully for those 3 tries on the turf course, back both at Del Mar and Santa Anita, none other than Edwin Maldonado. They reunite together, Jeff Mullins and Edwin Maldonado today, 20-1 on the morning line. Am I smoking crystal meth, or is this something that maybe you can sink your teeth into?
I'm never ever going to talk you off of a 20-1 shot. I mean, when you're trying to bet 20-1 shots, you're looking for anything, and like you said, he's got plenty of back class to go back to, and sometimes it's all it takes is the right rider to get these horses where they need to be and let them run one.
Why run 2 when will do? Jeff Mullins runs 2 in race number 5. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track. For maiden special weight, it's a restricted filly and mare race. We've got a field of 10. The morning line favorite number 2, Tapatia Leah, putting the blinkers on for the aforementioned trainer Steve Miotti, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. The waters get deep here. The next couple of races are good betting races. Who do you like? Who do you like and why in race 6, Jackson?
Yeah, I was on the 2 favorites in here. I just had a tough time making some cases for some of these long shots. I think the 9 did well at the post draw, drawn towards the outside after he was stuck on the inside last time. I think that'll probably allow her to be a little bit more forwardly placed. She was really ranked early on last race, got behind horses. This time she should be out in the clear. That shouldn't be an issue. And she's a bit of a better price than the 2, who's been beaten a few times at a short price. So the 2 makes plenty of sense as well. I don't love when these horses get beat at odds on. It's usually not a great sign, especially when they don't even hit the board. That's not the best indicator ever. But her numbers are better than everyone else in this field, so you have to consider at least a little bit.
Race number 7 begins at $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. And if you watch race 7, you'll be witnessing history, because this is the first unrestricted maiden claiming Calbred race for $12,500 ever in the history of Santa Anita. This race also features all 3-year-old fillies, even though it was written for fillies and mares. Number of scratches in this field: scratch the 1, 4, 8, and 9. 1, 4, 8, and 9 will not compete. Number 3, cooling off, make the jockey Tyler Bays. Morning line favorite, lukewarm favorite at that, is number 7, Buds and Suds, who's had plenty of chances for trainer Steve Knapp. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite in race 7, Jackson?
Thumbs up, thumb down, excuse me, way big thumbs down.
0 for 10 lifetime.
That's the kicker. 0 for 10, has had plenty of
never
chances.
Been this low.
It has never been this low, but at some point you'd think she'd kind of break through. It's not like she's been 50-1 in all the starts. She's reasonable prices in those. I just think she'll probably be overbet compared to her actual chances are. And similar with the 12 horse, who's 0 for 11 and runs at 9 in the money finishes.
You're going way to the outside.
Going way to the outside.
You need to check your shirt for that number.
I don't know if you can find it on here, but it's in there somewhere.
It is. I see it.
I'm going Charm Dream. She's the fastest in the race early. She should be on the lead throughout. Again, I talked about with these lower level horses, you want to keep them out of trouble. So I do like those outside draws. Just let them roll from out there. And I like the pattern she's shown. She's improved pretty substantially with every start, especially from this Sean McCarthy barn. That's usually how they roll. They get better and better with racing. So I think just let her roll from the outside and see what happens in the stretch.
Now you're living dangerously, picking number 12, Nepali, for second, because this is almost like Buds and Suds. 11 career starts, 9 seconds or thirds, never has seen the winner's circle, beaten favorite last 4 times out. But you probably think she has a bit of a pace advantage.
She does. But I mean, you mentioned the 7 second place finishes, 5 straight second place finishes, all as the favorite. And if I'm playing exactas in here, I'd probably just go 14-12 straight and hope she runs second again.
Race number 8 begins the $5 late daily double, also with a reduced 15% takeout. And we're traveling 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred fillies and mares, allowing optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. The following runners will not compete in race number 8. Number 2, Booster Club, as well as 3 of the also eligibles, 10, 12, and 13, all have been declared out of the race. However, number 11, Cornelia Fort, does draw in. That still leaves us with a good field of 9. Number 5, Nothing Is Forever, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. However, 4 of these 9 runners, Jackson, as you well know, exit the same race. This was a race back on March 15th. And the runners I want you to pay attention to, you're going to need to pay attention because we're watching a lot of action in this replay. But we're going to want to watch the mare breaking from the inside post, I should say. That's Princesa del Tigre. She's going to flash a lot of early speed and just missed finishing 3rd by a neck. We're also going to want to watch Quantum Energy, who in this replay is going to be wearing saddle cloth number 6. She's going to be closing from way back and just misses as well. And also another runner who had a bit of a trouble trip, and you'll be able to see this clearly on the replay, is She's Misbehaving, who breaks from post position number 3. Tyler Bays is never really able to get a clear run with her. I expect her to improve today at 12-1. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on March 15th, and watch the runners breaking from post positions 1, 3, and also the runner wearing saddle cloth number 6.
And they're off. Sassy Prancelot swerved inward. On the inside, it's Princesa del Tigre going to the front. Sassy Prancelot has some speed. Thirst for Passion 3rd. And the favorite Ultimate High settles in a perfect spot 4th. She's followed by Carol Lombard. Inside, Love Our Family. She's Misbehaving. And 4 more to Quantum Energy. Around the first turn, and the lead now belongs to Princesa del Tigre. Less than 6 furlongs out and opening up a 3-length advantage. Sassy Prancelot, Ultimate High at the rail in third. They are followed by Thirst for Passion, She's Misbehaving in fifth. Carol Lombard, Love Our Family, 8 lengths, maybe more off the lead. And at the back of the field is Quantum Energy. They have a half mile to go. Princesa del Tigre bounding along with a 3-length cushion on Sassy Prancelot. Ultimate High still bides her time in third. Then She's Misbehaving. Thirst for Passion is right next to that one. Carol Lombard is next. On the outside of Quantum Energy and Love Our Family now at the back. Princesa del Tigre, untroubled thus far, maintains a 3-length lead. Ultimate High, though, is now starting to come after her in second on the inside of Sassy Prancelot. Quantum Energy continues to make headway in fourth. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. Here's Quantum Energy in the center of the course, trying to get to Princesa del Tigre and Ultimate High. Ultimate High moves through, handwritten, gets a reminder. Quantum Energy into second. It's Ultimate High or Quantum Energy. Ultimate High, Quantum Energy. Photo finish. That's
Jackson, 3 fillies and mares blanketed on the finish line, and the Bob actually wound up going to Ultimate High, who has been declared out of this race. But the second and third place finishers also return, as we watch in the replay, including the 4th place finisher. This is a really good race, depending upon how you want to attack it. How are you going to attack it?
I think pretty good cases for all those horses coming out of that race, to be honest. Given the context of today's race, I think the one you wanted was the one horse who fought back on between rivals after setting the pace. She hadn't run in 9 months. So, and I know she kind of had her own way on the lead, but I love the way that she fought back the whole way of the stretch. She easily could have thrown in the towel. She was short horse, fought all the way to the wire, galloped out in front. I think we'll see much improved performance today. And she's not a need to lead type. She has enough pace to get the front if she wants it, but she's also capable of sitting just off and passing horses.
And we see also Nothing Is Forever, number 5. She's actually won this condition on the main track, but she has not done it on the turf course. You do like her today, probably from off the pace.
Yeah, from off the pace. And I know her turf win was a slow number, but that came in a really slow pace race. They were never going to run a fast number just based on how slow they went the first half of that race. And she had no business closing that fast and getting the job done that day. I think she's a big threat from off of it.
Race number 9, we close out the card with another good betting race, printing 6 furlongs on the main track. It's a starter optional claiming race. We also offer $1 super high 5 wagering. Program scratch of the 4 leaves us with a field 10. I could make a case for a lot of the runners in this field. However, the morning line favorite, fresh off victory, is number 8, Halo Rando from the Dean Pedersen barn, 2-1 on the morning line. Raylu Gutierrez has a number of live mounts today. What say you about the nightcap?
I'm going with the bomb and closes today out. Looks like there's a lot of speed in the race, and I think it could really sit up for horse coming from way out of it. I'm going to go with Rogue Sun, number 9, at 20-1 the morning line. And kind of like you mentioned earlier, sometimes these horses just prefer a certain rider. Armando Ayuso gets back on for the first time in a while. You got to go all the way back to last year. But Armando Ayuso, when he rode this horse, rode to a first place and a third place finish in the two tries, excuse me. And so I think that's a big play here. Again, there's a lot of speed. His numbers are only a couple points slower than some of these favorites in this race. So if he gets the right kind of setup, why can't he come running at a big price and blow this thing up?
And why can't Chasin' Money, your second selection, win as well? He's actually won 3 of his last 5 starts. First off the claim for trainer Lee Baraccio. You don't need a PhD in handicapping to see Lee Baraccio's barn does very well. First off the claim, looking at the daily racing form, last 19 times he's done it, he's hit the winner's circle 40% of the time. What do you like about Chasin' Money?
Yeah, just another one that should get the run of the race. He's a little bit more tactical than my top choice is. He should be probably mid-pack and get first jump on the deeper closers, but he's doing nothing wrong right now. He's won 2 in a row, and he's in really good form.
Jackson, your job handicapping here might be done, but you're not done handicapping both the Oaks and Derby card. Your buddy Ryan has a podcast called Gallop Out that you can see on YouTube. Tell us what you guys are up to over the next 24 hours or so.
Yeah, we're going to be busy. We're doing a 24-hour live show over on the Gallop Out on YouTube.
When do you sleep and eat?
That's a fantastic question. I'm trying to find out from Ryan. He's not giving me straight answers. I fear we're probably not going to.
It's a labor of love.
Yeah, it is. It's the Derby. We have to go big, and I think we're going to be live during the Derby card tomorrow, also on the Gallop Out on YouTube. So it should be a lot of fun.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on YouTube. If you just put in the Gallop Out in the search box, you'll be able to view that podcast and find out what the young whippersnappers think of both the Oaks and the Derby. Jackson, it's great to have you back on the seminar. Thanks so much for your time and insight. Good luck with all your selections today. We'll do it again real soon.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jackson. Hope you guys enjoyed it. One more wager to consider. Even though it's Kentucky Oaks Day, let's get involved with the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. Always pays well. Low 15% minimum. You can see the 5-race sequence today begins with Gulf Gulfstream Park, race number 8. 1:15 p.m. Pacific time. 3 of the races are from Sandy. You've already done the work. Just handicap those 2 other Gulfstream races. It always pays well. Make sure you get involved. Keep in mind, gates open tomorrow, Kentucky Derby Day, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time for all the Churchill Downs simulcast action. 10 race card here at St. It begins at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great afternoon and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place where the changes and track conditions are brought to you by John Deere. Fast track, firm turf, rail on the turf at 30 feet. Here are the changes, nothing new to report. No changes, race 1. Blinker note, race 2. In the third, scratch number 5, Giant Kid, the all-turf pick 3 on races 3, 5, and 8. Starts with the third. Pick 6 begins on race 4, scratch 5, Lino's Angel. Number 1, Can You Dream, is 2 pounds over. Late pick 5 starts with the 5th, program scratch of the 4. In the 6th, number 6, Club Stiletto, 2 pounds over. 9, approval rating, 3 pounds over. Race 7, scratch 1, penny account. Note that 3, cooling off. The jockey is Tyler Bays. Scratch number 4, onward and upward. Note that 6, Rebel X, is 3 pounds over. 7, Buds and Suds, 1 pound overweight. Scratch number 8, Starship Sedona. Scratch number 9, You Better Be the One. And note that number 10, Lanetto, is 5 pounds over. Scratch 1, 4, 8, and 9 out of the 7th. In the 8th, scratch 2, Booster Club. Scratch 10, J&M Express. Scratch 12, Ultimate High, and scratch 13, Lady Montclair. 2, 10, 12, and 13 out. The 11 will run. Race 9, program scratch of the 4, and we have super high 5 wagering. Coast to Coast Pick 5 is offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It starts today in about 45 minutes or so, a little under that, with Gulfstream's 8th. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Post time for the opener in 26 minutes at 1 p.m.